It's quite scary when at 32 people are calling you a veteran, but I accept what's been said today. I mean, I started my business when I was 19, in the same year, I'll assume, as Ben, which is 1994. Now, when I started the company, I had no previous experience. I didn't have much of an input as well. I've noticed from the first two candidates here as well that they mentioned they had inspiration from their grandparents and from their parents. But I was just a 19-year-old that was fairly slothful, didn't really want to work, didn't want to do anything for anybody else, but wanted to make some money somehow. One day, I was quite fortunate. I was watching the BBC London News, and a feature came on which indicated that there was a significant shortage of security operatives to, security organisations providing security operatives to the London Docklands Development Programme. As you can imagine, at the time, that was a major development programme and hundreds of officers were needed. And I thought, hold on, I'm at university, I know thousands of unemployed students. They're all looking for work. Why don't I cash in on this remarkable opportunity that's coming my way? Spoke to my brothers. They too were interested. But obviously none of us had any finances. So what we opted to do was, at the time the government had this new initiative which they were providing student loans to people. And obviously it was mentioned earlier that student loans, you do need to pay them back. At the time that wasn't a consideration because the percentage interest was about 0%. So it was about 0.3% or so. So we went in, we got some student loans, and with about £2,500 we set out on starting up a security company. Obviously, we're all full-time students as well, myself and my two brothers, and the options, as we looked at the future aspirations, we're thinking, well, how are we going to run this company when time allocation doesn't work? I've got to go to lectures, you've got to go to lectures. What is the best option for us? So we decided to invest in the company, and the first thing we bought was a mobile telephone. But mobile telephones weren't mobile telephones that you see today. They weren't this small. They weren't pocket size. We actually had to carry a big box with us everywhere we went. We used these telephones obviously as our communication channel. So when clients contacted us and said they wanted security, one of us would have this mobile telephone. The one of us that wasn't in university during lecture time, and we would try to then facilitate a provision of security by contacting our friends who are students and quickly rushing them into uniforms, because often, obviously, back in those days, we didn't have the SIA, which you may have been hearing of recently in the media articles, especially considering the problems with illegal immigrants and security. At that time, obviously, there wasn't an SA, so training wasn't a requisite function for security organisations. So all we did, obviously, was call them up, get them in uniforms and get them out on site. But the point was, with those mobile telephones, we were able to work quite quickly, and through our long list and chain of contacts, we were able to make sure that every client got an officer on time in a uniform. Now, obviously, things progressed, and in 1998, my brothers, due to other commitments, decided, well, we finished university, we're married, we'd rather tread on other careers. The problem I was faced with this is 1998 was I'd just come out of full-time education, no support now, myself running an organisation that was turning over at the time £300,000 per annum, and didn't have anyone I could turn to, and my work had been entirely administrative. I was now being asked to actually work with the officers. I was quite a timid individual at the time, and you can imagine, talking to these individuals that are normally 6'6" and much wider than me. Rest assured, because people don't like security officers to have my frame, if that makes sense. It was quite intimidating, and it was quite new to me. So the only option I felt to me was I would need to have some form of training, management skills, etc. And I embarked on a learning programme for myself to professionally develop myself. And this is a key factor, I think, for any future business leader. You really have to make sure you know your product, you're able to manage your resources, and that you have the training to actually convince clients that what you're providing is of an excellent quality. So I embarked on this training programme, got myself trained. Obviously, as I said, no business experience. My degree course was in pharmacy. So, I set off on this training programme and started to learn about the industry for the first time in my life, realising, hold on, there are actually regulations in our industry. We're not just meant to put out officers without training and without uniforms, and in shabby uniforms. So, my eyes suddenly opened to this new world of security, where if I could if I could get the quality, then I wouldn't have to continue marketing my product or targeting the lower stream of contractors. But I could actually start approaching the blue chip organisation and charging more of a blue chip rate, if that makes sense. So obviously we started to put up rates up as I developed the product. Now the training it showed me that we had to have a 24-hour control centre, something we'd never thought about. There are actual NVQ level 2 qualifications for security officers. It was such an eye-opener. I was shocked. I thought, hold on, we've been doing this so wrong. Why are we targeting construction companies? We can start working on retail in the retail industry and some of these conglomerates. So after training myself, I thought let's get some accreditations and let's start training the officers. Contact the Learning and Skills Council and managed to obtain a £60,000 grant to train all my security officers on the cheap, for free in essence, and at the same time I was paid money for putting them on the training course as well. So while they were out on the training courses, all those hours were obviously I would receive a level of remuneration paying me back for the time they were out on site. The whole project itself was meant to be a 2-year period. The problem I was faced with was that the trainer that was allocated to me seemed to always go missing. His scheduling was awful. It just didn't fit in with our 24-hour operation, especially when you consider the security sector. A lot of the static and patrol side is lone workers during the evening. So I had to find a solution to enable me to encompass this training programme in a more effective manner, where it would have least impact on our organisation. I had a wonderful idea. Why don't I start up my own training academy? We started up the training academy by myself being trained up as a trainer, once again LSE funded, so no cost to me, and I was being remunerated for my period out on these training courses. I continued the training, and we managed to start devising our own training programmes, our own. For instance, we now have a security supervisors course, the only one in existence in the security sector. We intend to get it now approved by Skills for Security and spreading it wide scale across the sector. We now have, we're one of 11 companies within the UK that can actually train our officers to use plastic restraints. The training academy itself has become a recognised unit within the security sector. We've won various awards for that training academy, including the Best Training Professional Award in the Skills for Security Awards and a National Training Award from the Department of Employment, which is the first of its kind in the sector. One of the things that we've also developed now as an organisation is not just the training. We've actually created an avenue with green products and trying to make our industry, our sector, seem as green as possible. Now, how do you do that with a security guarding company? Any ideas? I won't ask you because it's question time yet, but the way we've done this is to actually, our offices now have the first solar panels in the security sector. We run an EST, an energy saving trust grant for 50% of the cost of implementation, and at the same time, within 4 years, it should pay back the initial outlay we've had to that we've costed, and on top of that, with increasing electricity prices, we believe that the wholesale savings that we make will be well in excess of well in excess of what we initially assumed it would be with the 4-year payback, if that makes sense. Other avenues that we've considered, obviously we now have become the most awarded and accredited firm within the sector also, and that really is down to our quality processes, our maintaining systems and practices that we believe are pioneering and elite within the sector. And it's not just focused on training, it's about being amongst the elite 10% to join the approved contractor scheme with the SIA, which means that we are audited on a 6-monthly basis by them, and that does include a vetting of our screening and human resource practices. So rest assured, if you do want security, there is an organisation out there that does not hire illegal immigrants. Does that make sense? So that's me finished.
Well done, Wilson. Thank you.